Hello and welcome to Loving the Imperfect. I'm Brianne Terzinski, and this is a continuation of my garden posts from years ago, except I have edited all of them and I'm bringing them up to date to present time. So today's post is called Who Was Vita Sackville-West? A Teacher of Transformation. The place, Sissinghurst Castle, when I first saw it on a spring day, caught instantly at my heart and my imagination. I fell in love at first sight. It was Sleeping Beauty's garden, but a garden crying out for rescue. Standing in the middle of the vegetable patch, looking up to the tower, she turned to 12-year-old Nigel and said, "I think we shall be happy in this place." And that was Vita Sackville-West and Sarah Raven, who is her editor of much of her work now. And that was from the book Sissinghurst, Vita Sackville-West and the Creation of a Garden. And it was written in 2014. I'm a book lover. I'm a little obsessed with books, actually. People will hear this and ask me what I thought of the latest bestseller. I haven't read any of them. I'm working my way up through time, and when I finally get to today's bestsellers, they will be considered only a residue of our history, like little creative bursts of the past, old and forgotten by most, just the way I like them. This book, however, is pretty recent and a helpful guide to the life of Vita while she was living and gardening at Sissinghurst Castle in Kent, England. It had its beginnings as a Saxon pig farm in the 1500s. Then it was used as a prison for French prisoners later on in its life. When Vita and her husband, Harold Nicholson, bought it in the 1930s, it was run down by that time, and the gardens were heavily overgrown. Vita's love for gardening began after she and Harold married, and while they were living at Long Barn, another historic home in Kent, where Vita began experimenting in the garden. She went on to host a garden radio show later on in her life, where her advice was then published in a variety of books. She was a poet as well as a novelist and a journalist of sorts, yet most will only know her name because she was once the lover and longtime friend of the famed writer Virginia Woolf. I could feel what it must have been like for Vita to see Sissinghurst for the first time. She probably felt she had done all she could do in the garden at Long Barn and wanted a new challenge. She was moved by the potential of Sissinghurst and not deterred or overwhelmed by its dilapidation. She knew she had the tools, the knowledge, and the gifts to take care of that place and to bring it into its full life. It is a life well spent, I think, when we can look at something outside of ourselves and say, this is worth my time and energy and even money. I have the gifts, the tools, and the knowledge to bring this person, this object, this institution, this garden back from the dead. I'm going to take a chance and try to fulfill this call. And the thing we feel called to reanimate could be within ourselves too. We too are worth a transformation. 7 years ago, I felt a call to ordained ministry. I've taken steps here and there to fulfill this call with my Episcopal congregation, but something was off. No matter what I did for the church or how I offered myself, I always felt like I was on the outside looking in. So after some thought, I decided to start my journey fresh with the ELCA Lutheran Church, and I finally applied to the Divinity School at Duke University to get my Master of Divinity degree. Because I too, no matter my age, deserve something that will rattle my bones and make me question things and challenge me, shake me up even, so I can come together completely whole and completely myself. This is the weeding of my garden. And this is what Vita did with her garden. She shook it up, tore it up, right up from its roots, transplanting what needed to be transplanted and throwing out what was not producing fruit. Then she put it all back together in such a way that it was more fruitful for her and the bees when she was finished. How can we use this metaphorically in our own lives? We are the garden, our households, our institutions, our communities. Where do we feel called to help something or someone or ourselves feel whole again in this way? Where do we feel a tugging of the spirit of love and creation to create new life once more in something long dead or stagnant? What we love deserves this kind of attention. Thank you for joining me today. Bye-bye.